Hey, Sal. Found a poet. This one is called Grief is the Price We Pay for Love. Grief is the price we pay for love. I woke up at 7, sweaty and aghast. In my dream, I'd visited the Paris of my past. There were no ghosts. Everyone I knew was there. And we were still young enough to have sun in our hair. It started out as a Paris of my past. I knew because I found a tobacconist fast. Here at 60, my living room's cold, air is thin. Rather being annoyed, I felt sorry for a fly stuck inside. Felt sorry for him. I'd gone to Paris. In the dream, I'd gone to Paris for the weekend to see Isabel. We were broke going to the cinema, laughing so hard I couldn't tell that I'd lost my cell phone. It was still in Isabel's bag. I don't know why, but I left the cinema. Perhaps now Isabel will soon be a hag, and me, dark gray shadows of ourselves. And so I lost myself in the pretty shelves of the cute French department store across the street. All of a sudden, my French father found me, and he was young once more. Although when he was young, he hadn't been that handsome. In my dream, he was a glowing Alain Delon with a pink glow of a Da Vinci portrait. First, he found me somehow in love with me, alone. Then his family caught up. They're so beloved and familiar. But for some reason, I took a bus. Suddenly, the streets were unfamiliar, as I had lost my Paris street-by-street guide in the 80s. So it became clear in the dream that I was in modern Paris. As my friends began the transformation into old ladies, this new Paris became a Hades. I got off the bus, realized I was lost, and walked back across the bridge to find my way. I did again spot the cinema, but by then I'd been away for 2 hours and could only hope my friend would be waiting for me outside with my phone. My needless trip on the bus was inconsiderate, and I felt shame. And as I walked back to the cinema, suddenly I'd forgotten the name of my friend. What if she wasn't there? What if I came to Paris, lose my friend, and have no place to stay? I'd lost Bruno and his family too. And with my friend Bruno and my cell phone gone, Paris was an unfamiliar nightmare too. The new Paris has hideous, artistic skyscrapers in a tight ring around the old city, choking its faded beauty in a metal vise, a hideous collar around a place so pretty. I've known Bruno, my adoptive French father, since I was a 7-year-old girl. And when I lived in France in the 80s, he and his family were my whole world, along with my tight-knit circle of French friends. When I'd met them, I saved their ass in New York. When still strangers, they became guests at my invitation. And I was to move immediately from New York to Paris. And when I arrived, these girls became my posse of friends. None of us had boyfriends, so we'd drink pastis and coffee till the end of another lonely, exciting Paris night. A month ago, I went to Paris to stay with Bruno and his family. He was an exchange student with my parents when he was 20. And now, age 77, his appearance is gray, but he's still shockingly handsome. Convinced his wife now has Alzheimer's. Nevertheless, he invited my friend to stay with his family at the beach house next summer. But by the following day, when I asked smilingly, "Did you really mean that?" As we together climbed the house's spiral metal staircase, he turned angrily on me. In 53 years, he's never done that. His face was clouded with a strange new anger, and said, "It depends on my wife's illness. Now she's only going downhill." So that answer was the kiss of death. I said, half jokingly, "Will I ever see you again in my life?" In English, he said, "I'm 77, I'm no kid." I was devastated. Devastated in my life. And I've known him since I was 7. And our families have been so close. They hosted me at 16, and my parents hosted their son at 13. Was Bruno's angry response the close of a 53-year friendship? True, he had asked me how old my father was when he died. At 76, I said, had Bruno tasked me with premature grief. Someday he too will die. It will be like losing my father twice. Is he sick? Why so angry? In a half century, he's always been nice. I want to tell him, "Bruno, my dad died at 76 because of liver failure, his abuse of alcohol. Unlike him, Bruno does not drink scotch. Bruno, you barely drink, so you're not that old." But when I texted him this November, the day after the election, he texted back that my message was garbled. So, at his suggestion, I emailed him instead. But my texts are now rejected. His cell phone number's been disconnected. Is he trying to play dead? To force me to lose him ahead of his time when he does die. Down will come the skies above. Perhaps he's only pretending to die. But grief is the price we pay for love.